This was very, very serious.
Getting grilled. You're going to grill me.
Not grill.
Remember that thing we used to do, Grill a Christian?
What?
You don't
I
know
don't.
that thing?
Where's my phone? Oh, it's here. Okay.
This is called Grill That Husband.
Grill That Husband, Black Newborn Podcast Husband.
Grill That Husband.
Okay. Can you see it? Can you see it? Let's call it. Okay, That Husband Podcast. Wife reacts. Yeah. Take one, Mark.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn. Here we are husbands who aren't where we want to be, but certainly are not where we used to be. We are imperfect, always failing forward, trying to know better so that we can do better.
Hello, Lillian.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
What are you doing here?
I am here. Are you really not going to do an intro?
Hey, what's up? Welcome to That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn. This is a special episode where that husband gets grilled by that wife.
Don't do it. This is very serious, Black.
For everybody who's saying that they want that wife podcast, ST.
No, a conversation for another day. Conversation for another day. But I am here.
With
shout out to the people.
With questions.
Very
Guys, this is
cool.
my wife. This is my wife. I'm not just making a podcast
With some random lady.
for some random imaginary chick. This is my wife.
Yes.
And she has concerns about what I do on these cameras. So let's hope our marriage survives after this.
Come on, listen.
So
I am an avid viewer and contributing member of the That Husband Podcast community.
Yes.
And I was going to say that better and then I lost it. Never mind.
No, you said it better. It's when dudes come up on stage and say, I have a team.
Yes.
It's just him and his wife.
But yeah, so obviously I've watched every single episode since the day you were born.
Since the day I was in my mother's womb.
Yes. Is this fine? Tell me. Is it fine?
fine,
Is it? I feel like I want to lean
That's fine.
back.
Just chill.
Okay.
Yeah, you can lean back if you want to.
Oh, this is so cool.
Why does it feel like I'm shallowing you? What's going on?
I don't know because you're like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm like, hi, bo.
It's fine.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to come here in this place. Okay,
We welcome you in this
I need
place.
to be serious. Someone's going to be like, you're taking too long.
Yeah. Those comments give my wife nightmares, and I absolutely don't care about them. It's a podcast. We have to talk.
Okay. So obviously I've watched every single episode. Literally. I think there's only one I haven't actually watched because I was busy with other matters. But I watched every single episode. And so I think here's the thing. We live together, we talk, whatever. But the podcast made me realize that I never get to hear what my husband thinks about marriage with other men.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's just, and it's not like something that I ever thought, I wish I could, but it's just something that you don't.
Yeah.
You know, and I was surprised at how much I was surprised at some of the things you said. Not that they were like bad or whatever. I mean, sometimes I'd be like, really? Black?
You told the streets our business.
Or I'd be like, that's not exactly how it went. Like, remember Banger's episode when Kuma was commenting in the background?
Chiming in, yeah.
I'd be like, but you know, that's not what this is. It was just, there were so many things that were said that I was like, wow, I'd really like want to like double tap on that.
Yeah, sure.
And so I'm just going to get into it. I have my phone.
Yeah, it's good. I want to comment on that. It's like, it would be weird for me to do marriage with you as somebody who's in it, but also as somebody who's an observer from outside of it. Because on the podcast, I'm observing my marriage. You know, it would be weird that in real time I'm commentating on our marriage. That would be hella weird. Imagine if we in a conflict, right? And we fighting, and then I pause to be like, hey, let's just have some reflective time on what is happening in this situation. That would be weird. I can't be a player and commentator at the same time. If I'm with you, I'm a player. I'm in the field. But yeah, I'm commentating. So
You look so nice, hey?
like you. I like this.
You look very nice.
You look scrumptious.
Okay. See, you always go.
But now, who else is supposed to find you sexy and hot?
Okay. I want it right away.
Anyway.
All right. So on conflict, actually,
Yes.
I'm gonna start with that one.
Okay.
Because I need to move on from that awkward moment. So moving right along on conflict, your episode with VTJ, which was absolute fire.
VTJ,
Like,
the V
guys,
stands for violence.
If you haven't watched that episode, please watch it. Wow. But when there's a clip, right? Obviously we'll put it in, but there's a clip where not a clip, not focused. There's a section where you speak about processing and conflict and the fact that you are a processor.
Yes,
I am not a processor. I'm a confrontationist.
Yo, confronter is
But I've grown.
You have.
Thank you. You
100.
better say I've grown.
Even as a processor, I've grown.
You have.
Yeah.
And I say that to say this because for us, it took us a while to realize that my wife wants to talk about the thing now. I'm a processor.
Yeah.
I need to leave. Right. Yeah. So I'm not even going to sit here and name the thing. I can't name it. Let's just say, it's okay. You can say your piece. I'll take it. I have to leave to think about the thing and then I'll come back.
I live with somebody like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get it, right? Totally. You get it, bro. So I need to go think, process, come back. And part of my processing is to help me with all the stuff that you mentioned, right? So it's a gift that's, given by God, or it's just naturally how I'm wired. I'm not very, driven to press into conflicts.
Sure.
Right? Conflict averse. That's what the English is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's me. And so I if I'm gonna keep that, I need to process, man. And I'm not like, I don't hate you.
Yeah.
I just need to think.
Yeah.
So that I can maintain my not hating you. Right? Because if I don't, I'm probably gonna hate you. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't hate you.
Sure.
I just need to go away so I can maintain not hating you, And I think that's such a vital thing that you guys would know your wiring, your makeup.
I think I wanted to double tap, circle back.
Now.
Yeah. Just to double click on that. Particularly because, it's been a big thing for us. And also I think someone on TikTok said how what you said was toxic. and what lack of accountability, and then they said this must be painful for her.
Yes, essentially they were calling me a dog for being a processor, and how much my processing is potentially hurting
and
you.
I need to be rescued.
Wow.
And I assured that person I'm fine, but they never responded. But it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I think just talking about that,
yeah,
the whole sort of processing thing. So one thing that I had to learn, right? Because I had to learn that you are a processor. And also that there's no one way to fight or argue, you know what I mean? And what he says about resolving conflict. And I think I said to that person in my comments on TikTok that I was like, I had to realize that most of the time I wasn't actually trying to resolve the conflict. I just wanted to show you how intelligent I was and how right I am and how wrong you are.
What did you want to study before film?
I was going to be a lawyer.
What did I want to study
You're
before film?
You're going to be a lawyer.
So, come on now, Kel.
So if we didn't meet where we met, we would have met at Rhodes or something, right?
Probably.
I don't know. But that was such a big thing to be like, and to admit that at some point that, you remember that one time when we fought and I slept in the bathtub because I was so angry?
In our small cottage?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not even. But you didn't go to sleep the whole night.
No, it was uncomfortable. I was putting on a show.
Yeah,
because you didn't see how right I was.
Yeah,
sure. But I think anyway. What I'm trying to say is realizing that letting you do that, right? First of all, because I'm hot at the time, I'm gonna say a bunch of stuff, right? But also then it's why would you want to argue with someone, or rather, let me not say argue. Why would you want to hash something out with someone with the hopes of working things out when they don't have everything together yet? Who does that serve? You know what I mean? And it's I've grown to really appreciate that. And I've also learned to kind of process myself. But anyway, what I wanted to ask was, what was that experience for you? Because I remember you said, I don't hate you and I want to maintain not hating you. And I thought that was really so honest and real and profound that you're trying to not go to a bad place.
Yeah.
But when I would be when I don't know if I still do. I try not to, but when I'll be like, no, we need to talk now. What was that experience for you?
Yeah, so for me, couple of things are happening, and I just thought of two now. So one, I'm not stupid. You wouldn't have married me, right? I think I'm intelligent. I use my brain. So in that moment, everything in me is like, okay, I could see how this argument is unfolding. I can see where I'm wrong, where she's right, or vice versa, right? I could see that, and probably not like in HD or like whatever. What's the highest resolution? I'm not seeing it in that, but I could see, right, most of what is happening, the terrain that we're on as we arguing, and then underneath that, I'm like, man, I could fight and argue because, I like doing that. That's just, and not maliciously. I just like challenging thoughts, opinions, pushing back. I want to discover stuff. I want people to push back, and, I like talking. So I'm like, underneath there's that. So I have to silence that part of me to be like, okay, like let's not do that, because the thing that's undergirding all of that is my love for you. This is a person I love. This is a person I care for. Okay, so then I have to go to that bottom layer, that deep layer, and just be like, I need to kind of swim in these waters, and swimming in these waters of me loving you, caring for you, then doesn't give me mental capacity to then think about, what the argument is, what my pushback is going to be.
Oh, flip.
So now let me leave, because how I'm going to maintain not hating you is I need to swim in the deep waters of my love for you. That's where I need to be, right? And once I've swam enough, then I've, bathed and
baptized.
I've been baptized in my love for you. Then I can come up to the surface, look at all the other two layers. Okay, what is the argument? Okay, cool. Let's not tear her down. That's not the thing. You wouldn't want that to happen to you. If I'm actually wrong, how does accountability look like, et cetera, right? And then go to the top layer, which is where the argument is. Okay, so now I need to formulate like a cohesive argument or a point that I'm gonna, give across and say, this is where I think we missed each other, et cetera. So for me, that's what's happening in those moments, and that's why I think I would consider myself a processor. Obviously, it's not that I became a processor because I was married to you. I've been a processor all my life, but it works differently in various relationships.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds as though, because I remember, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
When in the episode, you said, I shy away from conflict.
Yes.
Right? But then at the same time, you said now that you like to debate. And I've seen that. Like, I've seen you you'll go toe to toe with someone.
Yeah.
But now, I'm only thinking about it now. It's almost like the more important a person is to you, like the less.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or if, actually, on the opposite end, if you think like that person's nonsense, you're also not going to.
No, hundreds.
You're like, it's not worth my energy. And I'm like, you need to go fight.
Yeah, hundreds. No, hundreds. Yeah, it is that. If I think, man, like this person we're all broken. We're all broken people. We're all sinners. But if I think this person is just evil, man.
Ish.
And they're just they're a horrible creature because they're not behaving like a human at that point. I'm like, am I going to use all that God has gifted me with to now somehow give this person, some shine, some glory, some 2 minutes to feel like I went toe to toe with and I used my powers to destroy. I don't want to do that, right? That's the extreme. Or I'm like, man, like this person really wants to hash something out. And maybe they're adamant about something, and by God's grace and just wisdom and age, I've realized, man, you probably missed a thing or two here. Yeah, I'll go toe to toe with them. But for people I live with, care for, where I'm like, man, this thing is gonna be till death takes one of us or Jesus returns. And man, there's an extra layer here. I can't just be, I did public speaking at school and debate. I'm like, that's not. Because part of what we also learning now is how we're using our words towards each other.
Yeah.
Which is something we've known, but now 10 years in, there's just a level at which we're more sensitive to the wording in our conflict. And we've been intentional in pausing and caring for each other's hearts.
Yeah.
Because maybe 10 years makes you realize I want 10 more. And
that's a podcast.
Come on now.
That is a podcast.
Right?
Like, I got a lot to say on that. Like, it's a lot. Like, I got a lot to say on that.
Anyway.
But sorry, before I move on to the next one. What was it? I lost it. Oh, I think I'm convicted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank God we're not exactly alike. Because when that image of you saying I need to swim in the fact that I love this person, when I would be mad, love what? You need to know I'm smart. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
You need to know. And I think that's just from my own traumas and stuff where I'm on guard. And that's like you don't come for my brain. You don't come for me. And hence even the person who's like the person you describe who's like just evil or just a horrible human, I want to go there also because they must know. And like you taught me that, but like, is it worth? Like we had a situation where for a long time I was like, no, I need to have a sit down. And then I was like, actually, why? This is who they are. I don't think it's on me to change them. Yeah. And then to admit that my point of the conversation is not to, because I'd be like, I don't want to be friends with them. No, but they must hear me. I'm like, actually, it's okay. And then with us, it's like a thing where I had to learn that what is this actually about? Because like you said, if I want 10 more years, me forcing a conversation and allowing the emotions to take over, the damage I'm going to do, I'm not going to get to 10 more years.
No, 100%.
And then is it worth that fight over the pots or whatever? I don't know. I thought that was like really, and even how like I've kind of learned now to, like I think there was a time when I said, I don't want to talk about it now. And I could tell you like, what? So like, I didn't. I think we were having a good day and I just didn't want to talk about the thing. And then we came back to it.
And I think practically speaking, it's understanding. I haven't met a couple that are the same. So I haven't met two processes. I haven't met two confronters.
If you're out there, let us know.
If you are, if you guys are out there, man, here's a free invite. Come on the pod. I'm very fascinated to see how that dynamic works. But most couples that I've been speaking to, it's always the opposite. There's one, and maybe it's God's genius in bringing us together in that way. But practically speaking, us having to find each other in the middle has actually been such a benefit, because for you to even get to that day where you're like, man, we're actually having such a good day. I'm not downplaying the fact that we just had an argument, but I'm mature enough to know that, okay, I want to confront the thing. He wants to process the stuff. But man, we have a good day. Our daughter is having such a lovely time. So the maturity just be like, let's meet each other in the middle, park this thing, we'll come back to it tomorrow. For me as a process, I'm like, break, right? Yeah. But for somebody who's a confronter like you, the level of growth that it had to take for you to get there, man, like if we don't come and meet each other in the middle constantly and keep on checking, with your spouse and the opposite conflict personality that they are, or that they have, man, you're not gonna get to those days. Like life is gonna suck.
Yes,
life will suck.
And
Marriage will be whack.
Costly.
It will be costly. So
yeah. So shucks, let me move on. Okay. Because like I
thought I was gonna get grilled. I'm not sweating so far.
No, I just got questions.
That's fine.
It's a safe space.
Sure.
Huh?
Sure.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
Process is in there.
Oh.
I don't even know what I'm saying. But trust.
Process.
I'm holding space.
Yeah.
Process. Anyway, just on I was losing my train of thought on language.
Yep.
Right. That actually leads me. Segue.
Come on now.
Segue. See how I did that? Do you think I could host That Husband podcast now?
Wow.
Okay. Anyway, just thought I could check.
Wow.
Like
don't be a colonizer.
But
it gave you water and shelter.
Yeah. One more.
And now you want to colonize.
So because I was gonna go to Kuliso's episode.
Yes.
Dr. Kuliso.
Dr. Ramashia.
And he tells the story. I was cut there for him. But I was also like, shucks, have I done that?
So, for instance, an example this week. So, my wife went to, I think, her mom's place during the day. The day before I had taken the kids. So she was busy with something. I'm like, no. And I'd had a busy week. Babe, let me take the kids. Took them. We went and bought stuff for the house. All the DIY stuff. The man stuff.
Yeah.
I bought a new shower head.
Was you and the boys?
Me and the boys.
Come on now.
Bought a new shower head.
You're having a father-son's day.
Father-son day. Bruh. So she had a day for herself. Fine, I come home. I do all my DIY stuff. She doesn't notice. I'm like, it's fine.
Oh, so she comes home, she doesn't say anything.
So I came home with the boys.
Yeah. And you did your stuff.
And I bought the boys. Bought them, make food. And in the meantime, I'm putting up shower heads.
Yes.
I'm daddying.
Come on now.
She doesn't see it. I'm like, fair. Next day, she goes to her mom's place. Yeah. So I'm like, let me do some more DIY. Not for her, just like, as a guy. Yes. So we have this tree that leans over the driveway. She couldn't park because of the tree. Yeah. I'm like, let me attack that tree. Cut it down.
Cheers, I do.
Like... In my mind, I'm like, I'm doing it, hey?
I'm mending this thing.
I'm mending. She comes home, doesn't notice. Fine. The following day, we start talking about me going back to the big hospital where I used to work and the time, whatever. And I'm just getting jabs. You know, when you're not around. So there's certain trigger words. Yeah. Not around, not present. Yes. So she's hitting me with the trigger words. Yeah. And she's pouring out, man. She's, it's not a malicious thing.
Sure.
But those jabs hurt. Because I'm like, Chief, I've given you everything I have. I worked the whole week. I brought a check and I did the dad stuff and, but it just wasn't, So that was tough.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. It's not like a performance thing either. No. And maybe that's where my heart was. I'm like, at the end of this, I'm going to stand on stage. And it's going to be like, what a man. Yeah. Nothing.
My endoda.
You know what I'm saying? It's my endoda. But that's what, that's not what it was about. It's just, she needed to be loved in a way that made sense to her, like language.
Yeah.
And I failed,
That's a big one, man.
And he said that the tree, like there was a tree that had been bothering. Like I think all the wives know when you've asked your husband to do something and then you stop asking, right? So I'm like, the fact that he did it, but whatever she was dealing with was so heavy that she didn't even see that it was done, right? And it's like these two experiences are so real.
Yeah.
Like when he says, man, I was out there, like that's real. Like, and it's not like in that like menial, applaud you for being a dad. But as a human being, because it's hard with two little kids, running errands, trying to do your best, you know what I mean? But then she's also having the depth of this experience that she was having, that he shared a little bit of. And then he describes having to take the jabs and then the trigger words. And I was like, man, have I done that? I've never done that in the 10 years. Have I ever in your life? I have never put you, because then you said it's the equivalent of the wife who does her hair and the husband doesn't notice.
Yep.
And I think it's just the feeling unseen. I think because essentially that's what he was communicating. Again, nothing to take away from what else was happening.
Yeah, no, 100,
but
100.
when we focus on what was happening with him, there was a feeling of being unseen.
Yeah.
And it's just, those kinds of words are not words that I hear men. Maybe they do. I don't know. But like that kind of language of, it felt like, but what about me? It almost feels so like, and I think he even had that like, imagine, I didn't think something that would get to me like as a guy. So I have to ask, have you ever felt that?
That's why husbands or men would use the word respect.
Okay.
But if it's not unpacked and not verbally primarily, but the first unpacking that needs to happen is for the man or the husband himself to decide what is it that I'm actually trying to communicate. Maybe the word unseen or seen or heard, whatever, might seem too feminine for me to use, and it feels like it's emasculating me. And so I want to use the word respect.
Yes.
But you need to do the unpacking first.
Yes.
Because the word respect is loaded.
Yeah, as a woman, when I hear respect, I see this.
Loaded.
I'm like, loaded. I don't see what it actually just is.
Yeah.
Or what it could mean for you.
Yeah.
I see, I need to sit in my place and be quiet.
Yes. And so that's why I'm saying do the unpacking for yourself first so that you can help your wife when you say, I don't feel respected in this regard.
Okay.
You know, so then, you know, walk her through with obviously dancing around the word unseen, unheard, or whatever, because that's the word you're trying to avoid. But then try and find other language that will kind of paint the picture of what it means when you say to her, you're not respected. But essentially what it is, it's acknowledgement, you know, so it is wanting to be seen. I mean, I felt that. Yeah, I felt that several. I mean, we've been married for 10 years.
Like 3 times.
Why does it feel like you came
Like in
up
the
here
early days,
to be
in
like
year 1,
to be like, hey, listen, me, I'm a dope wife. This guy mustn't come with tricks here.
No. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I guess somebody said on Instagram that I keep on creating the illusion that
Women are perfect.
Women are perfect.
Can you even create that illusion? Can you live in the world as an adult and successfully create that illusion? No, like
anyway.
it's anyway, it's fine. People are
Anyway,
weird.
that's a
But yeah,
whole
so
other
you were saying that you
conversation. I mean,
yeah.
I felt a lack of acknowledgement before. You know, so but here's the thing where Kuliso says, I didn't think that I'd ever feel like that as a man.
Yeah.
Man, for me, that's on several that statement rests on several pillars. One, as a Christian, I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't think that I'd ever want to be acknowledged. You know.
Wait, what do you mean as a Christian?
Because I'm supposed to be selfless. I'm supposed to be humble. All the glory goes to God. You know. So first and foremost, as a Christian, I'm like, man, I don't think that I'd ever want to be acknowledged. But then, secondly, as a man, and particularly for me, my personal story, and you know, dad leaving at 15, etc., vowing at some point. I don't even think I made a verbal vow with myself, but it was like, yeah, man, like we just gonna be selfless as men, you know. We're not gonna get into marriage asking for stuff, you know. Which in a very big sense, that's my posture, and I think it's the posture of Khalees as well. We didn't come into marriage saying we gonna demand things, but you know, I think going to our wiring, to our design, there's nothing wrong with a man particularly wanting to be acknowledged, you know, because that's how God wired us. Again, Ephesians 5, I'm commanded to love you. You commanded to respect and submit to me, right? Verses 22 till 31, 10 verses. And 8 of those are to the man and how I'm supposed to love you, and 2 are to you.
But we're stuck on those 2.
Yeah, everyone gets stuck on the 2, where it's like it's 8 verses because love is hard and it's complex and it's nuanced, and you know, and not that submission and respect are not, but there's something that God is working out of me, and part of what fuels that love is the submission and the respect, right? And not that if it's not there, I shouldn't love. I should love regardless.
Yeah.
But when you do respect, and by respect I mean acknowledge, right? So whatever, man, I cut the tree. So go back to that same example. I cut the tree, whatever. I'm not really expecting you to come and say, you are an amazing man, you know, Mbovo Somahashi, Matomela, you are, you know, you say perish and we all die, and now you're singing clan praises. I'm not asking for that. But it's a, man, that tree was hard to chop, right? Having 10 kids and running around and doing stuff and was hard, right? And and the hardness is not it's hard and this thing sucks. No, it's hard and it's good for me as a man. You know, I've done the tree, I'm sweating. Man, the stuff that happens to me as a man, that's like, we need to do more of the stuff, right? And so if Grace comes and says, man, you chopped that tree well, it's gonna be like, okay, cool, bro, thanks. Because already the act of chopping the tree has already given me confidence in my manliness. But it's you who comes and says, man, you chopped that tree. And the act of chopping the tree, in comparison to your words, is probably now 5% in giving me confidence.
Sure.
But you saying that you chopped the tree gives me 95% of confidence. right? And so when that's not given, it works the same way. It feels like 95% of the confidence was sucked out, and now I'm left with the 5% of the
Wow, that is powerful.
right.
Sure.
And so it's just respect is acknowledgement at its core. That's what I define respect to be. And so I could be respected in various ways. I could be respected in doing chores. I could be respected or acknowledged. I come in the house and I'm home. We 2 weeks ago, last week's episode with Kaya. And it's like, man, I'm not going home with sweets. I'm just going home empty-handed. But as soon as I walk in, kids know that dad is home. My wife knows that her husband is at home. And just that acknowledgement that I am at home and I'm wanted here and I belong here. Right?
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah. And so respect is not just you coming as I walk in the door and you like, oh, here's a warm cloth, whatever. If that's how you want to do it, sure. But it's just an acknowledgement, because even the warm cloth is a sign of acknowledgement that we acknowledge your presence, that you've entered. As the man of the house, as the father of the house, as the husband, we're acknowledging that you're here. Here's a tray, here's water, whatever the case is. So for me, I'm like, man, it's what I've said to you, that let's come in the house and give me a fat kiss. Just ungishanga lamza jo, ungtabule ngelamza, unglamzarize. That's acknowledgement. I've landed. The plane has landed. That's it. We welcome you in this place. Fat lamza.
Okay.
Then we're good.
Yes.
So it's just that's acknowledgement. That's men feel like the world says you don't exist in many ways. If we could go as corporate or blah, 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 opportunities. So let's just, without going into detail, assume and say we agree the world is, compressing men into a small, tight corner. When I come home, man, I need to feel like that's not a tight corner.
And I think that's very human too, right?
Yeah.
The expression of that will look different, because I want the same thing.
Yeah.
But the expression or the outworking, whatever it is, will look differently to yours. But at the heart of it, it is being seen, acknowledged, loved, belonging.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That was like what you call, and I guess it's tough because in those moments when the argument is happening, it's like, because you spoke about the jabs.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe that's not the time to say, hey, because now when you do that, you didn't even notice that I did that.
Oh.
Suddenly you feel like you're on the playground and you're like 7 years old.
Yeah, sure.
And now this thing is just completely devalued.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That thing was big, because I was just like, man, I guess also because with going back to the conflict thing, right? Like you also don't complain a lot. Like if you bring up a grievance, it's like, okay, you know what I mean? And so it's the feeling of like, shucks, I need to sort of be mindful as well to not do that. Because I also know what it's like to feel like I'm not being seen. Like I know that. Yeah. But I think what happens is when you're the person feeling like you are the, I don't know, like victim, quote unquote, not victim, but you know what I mean? You assume in this two-way street that there's no way you're doing that thing.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible. I would never do that.
Yeah, sure.
Until you hear, oh, flip, did I do that? I'm sorry.
Well. Yeah, sure.
You can also just kind of be, and I think even as women, like you're dealing with this and this and this and this and that, it can be like, hey man, what's wrong? You know what I mean? But it's like, no. And just, you said the words affirmation. I think Kuliso spoke about it in the thing as well, the language, having to learn language, but also Jabu's episode, which was also that was a fire episode. Shout out to Uncle Jabu. I just said that now. But Jabu's episode of, I need you to, what did he say?
I mean, we spoke about this gentleman earlier now, but his name is escaping me now. But he was pushing back. That if I can, do great things alone, why do I suddenly need my wife to validate me? If this is what I'm gonna do anyway, I'm gonna go out there, speak, build businesses, do great things. Why do I need my wife now to validate me? There might be a lot of other guys who think the same way. Why do you think it's important? that you want your wife to kiss your mpandlana when you come back home. What does that do to you? And what does that bring out of you? Yeah.
Richness of experience. It makes that experience more rich. I can do all those things and I don't need for her to necessarily validate me. And I'll go and I'll do them. The danger with that is that human beings respond to praise.
Come on.
And compliment.
Come on.
And we naturally gravitate to anybody that seems to think that we are amazing.
It's plain and simple.
If more women out there in the world think I'm amazing and my wife does not seem to think I am, it's a vulnerability in our marriage. It's a vulnerability in our marriage. You may say you don't need it.
Yeah.
But you don't know how much you like it until you get it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you start liking it from other people, getting from her, you're gonna start making comparison.
That's when you start having female best friends. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why you start realizing that she's all talking to you all about transactions and about duties and about criticism. And then this thing is missing that you're constantly getting elsewhere. It's missing.
Yeah.
It's a vulnerability.
Yeah. Sure.
That gets quickly sorted out with, you know what, baby? You're amazing.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Like that, it's few words.
Yeah.
That don't necessarily change the fact that I'm doing what I'm doing. But guess what, man? I leave that house with my chest.
Yo, man.
Up there.
I would kill bears.
And I'm ready to slay, yo. I'm ready to slay. Simple words. So it's not the fact that I need it. But the thing is that I don't ever want to not need it.
Yeah.
Because that's a very important part of who I am as a man. As far as my contribution, my significance in the world. And to know that your words, your involvement as my wife are not part of that, it's a vulnerability for our marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I learned that was a thing.
Yeah.
Properly at late last year, this year. You know, that was something, and not because I didn't want to do it, I just didn't know it was important. Like I didn't know it was important. And I remember feeling, I guess the timing of when you revealed that to me, or like when that sort of came up, was perfect, because I think had I been earlier days, I would have not probably had that reaction, because I saw someone again on TikTok, follow that husband on TikTok while we're here. But I remember there was a it must have been that clip from that episode. And somebody wrote there that, well, I mean, my words should have no impact on you. You need to be who you are, da 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 da. And I was like, I get that, because I know there was a time I would have had that opinion as well. But I'm like, in a world where you are living with someone, sharing a space, I trust you. I hope you trust me. You see my everything. Like, and that's assuming your marriage is healthy and not one that is destructive and breaking you. Of course it's gonna matter what you think of me. Like, and so when you said it, I was like, oh, duh, of course. Like, of course it'll matter that everyone can say, well, Blaque, you did well. And if I don't say it, he's gonna think about the fact that I didn't say it. Like it suddenly was like obvious, and then but also, the affirmation, the words thing, I don't know, was not like my biggest words of affirmation, like the touch thing. But also being like the thing where it turned for me was, so I started doing that more, started being like, okay, cool. And I think also trying to read your cues as to, okay, he needs this now, but also realizing, shucks, I also sometimes need it, which was new for me. But I'm all over the place. I actually wanted to talk about the language thing. And how we're using our words. Obviously there's the building and all of that stuff, but and you've said it many times on the platform that we had to learn how to use words. And I remember we had this one discussion where you say that thing that I had to admit grates me. You're not hearing me.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes, like when you're having an argument. And like, I remember even the day I had to tell you that, when you say in an argument that you're not hearing me, this is how I feel. I felt so stupid. Like I felt like you're smart. You know better than this. Because it's like, this should not bother you. Like, but literally, because I remember feeling like when you say that, it's as if I heard you, I wouldn't have the opinion I have.
Yes.
And how many times you've said that and I flared up inside. And then when I told you that, hey, this thing bothers me, like, oh, okay. Like I went back to like 10 years worth of arguments where I probably got more angry than I should have just because you said that thing. And you weren't even trying to say it the way that I took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it is. It's. And the unfortunate thing is, because I think a couple of things. We don't slow down conversations. And if somebody is.
Okay. Sorry.
As spouses.
Okay, I thought you were saying us specifically. Oh, spouses,
No,
people.
As couples. Couples don't slow down conversations. And if you don't slow down the conversation, and let's say most of the time the husband tends to be the one who's a processor. Or if he's not a processor, typically the man is the one who probably doesn't, have language to articulate himself and his emotional frequency in the actual moment. So I am feeling a certain way and my emotions are at a certain frequency, but I just don't have the words right now to articulate accurately this is where my emotions are right now, right? And so then again, so let's say that's my brokenness. Typically your brokenness as a woman is once you see that and you see that he's not able to articulate himself, you can see what he's feeling. You probably have an idea. You also don't have words because you're not in his heart. He's in his body, he's in his heart, but he just doesn't have the words and he's getting frustrated. And now you're seeing that and you think, wow, you can't even, and then you come at him more. That frustrates him. And so obviously then, worst case scenario is that violence would ensue. But say not that worst case scenario and he just freezes, right? And so I think once that happens, man, then there's breakdown, there's a scar there, and that scar needs to be revisited. And so all that to say, if conversations would be slowed down, how does a conversation slow down? What we've been doing is, you would say, and I've used this example a couple of times this past week, it's I hate the fact that you leave coffee. Okay, so you say that statement. Slowing down is, okay, please wait before you continue. Can we address the fact that you use the word hate? Because hate makes me feel like less of a man. It belittles me. It emasculates me. So can we change that? You say, what's wrong with the word hate? When I just told you, okay, do you have another word? Okay, I'll use dislike. Is dislike fine? Yeah. Okay.
It's painstaking.
It is boring and long.
But it's worth it.
It's worth it because then we're correcting language in real time, but it's also training us so that our conversations next time, we don't have to pause for the word hate because now you're never going to use the word hate. You're going to use dislike next time, which is fine, right? So,
and that's, I think, also just a beautiful welcome sacrifice.
Yes.
I think because like just even in this example, digging deeper, like I've seen you in a scenario where we're debating, arguing, and like I can see you sort of backtrack and I know that that's not comfortable, but like I appreciate that you are meeting me there.
Yeah.
For the sake of the conversation we're having. Like it's a welcome sacrifice. And it's cool. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So that's why I'm like, I think the point that I'm making is just slow down the conversation. It's gonna be tedious, but it's worthwhile in the long run. Cause then will resolve the issue. 2, you'll learn how to fight better. 3, you'll not stop loving each other, especially in the midst of the argument. And so I think because again we were reacting to husbands. I'm saying this to wives. Be mindful of that we generally, most of us, just don't have the language to communicate the frequency at which our emotions are in that specific moment. Some of us can.
I mean, I think it's definitely the socialization, right?
Yeah, sure.
Using socialization.
Come on, dog.
But like just
so smart.
Wow, let's see. But like anyway, because I'm remembering Kaya's episode where he spoke about how he raises his son and his daughter.
Yeah.
If they have a fight, the son, why are you crying? The daughter, what's wrong? So from an early age, she's being taught that she should process and say how she feels. And even if it's messy, say it. On the other hand, he's being taught, the son is being taught to hold it in. So you never learn. And then now you in a household and it's not you and your little sister or your mom, it's you and your wife and she's going crazy and you're just there like, you know. But then with the words thing, how then have you been able to manage the fact that I'll come with a lot of words and my language, like, I don't know, I'm not even sure how I'm asking this question, like sort of navigating me needing to sort of catch up to, because you brought up the words thing. Like I never actually brought it up. Was that like, and it was quite late. It was like, I'm going to say late, sorry. It was something that came up like in the last year. I feel like we've just been doing like internal therapy together. Was it something that was there for like a long time? Like how I would use my words. And this is me coming from a place where I had friendships. I even remember with my sister. She would kind of be like, you know, so it is like, how do I say, like a pain point, not pain point, like something I'm embarrassed about, like, oh, there's a thing, oh no. So I'm like, was it always there?
What did your sister do?
She would say, like, sometimes I could be like harsh with my words, you know, or and like, I even remember a friend from high school said the same thing. And I remember he was like, he got upset. I'm like, what did I say? And then he's like, you said that's a stupid idea. And I was like, I didn't say that was stupid. Because I genuinely it just came out, you know, and it was like a thing. So then when it came up in this past year, I was like, oh, flip, have I just been throwing daggers? Like, has this guy just been living with this thing?
I can't sitting here and say that that's what's happened. I mean, I would have addressed it. I wouldn't take abuse.
Okay. And I'm not abusive. I just know. Yeah, just so people
don't. That's what I'm saying. It sounds like, have I been doing this thing? Because then that sounds like, yo, man, I've been thinking.
No, it's just careless. Like careless with the, like the example I'm giving you where we were looking at applications and I don't know what he said he was going to do. I was like, oh, that's a stupid idea. You know, and he was like, geez, you didn't have to say that. And I was like, what did I say? So it's not like I'm just walking out saying, Black, you're an idiot.
Right? No, you're not saying that. But, and here's just so to answer your question, no, you haven't. You haven't been just, you know, ramming into me for the past 10 years. If there was a time, I mean, we probably did address it, you know, if there was. It's just now, I think, and I said to you, the evolution of our communication, you know, is at a different place. Like everyone has to evolve in how they communicate, especially if you're married, because you're living together. And our evolution is somewhere else. And it's changed. And so I'm like, man, because of where we currently are, it needs us to drill down on words, particularly, compared to where we were, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Considering where we are in our relationship now, man, words mean a lot. But secondly, you are, you know, you live out or you say what you think and you live out what you believe. Right? And so you saying at that moment, well, that's a stupid idea. It's because you genuinely believe it's a stupid idea. You're not saying that to insult.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So
the intention is not to cause harm.
Your intention is not to cause harm. You genuinely think that's stupid. And it's like, okay. But obviously, for me who's receiving it, in that case, your friend, the reception is, if this is a stupid idea, then I'm stupid.
Yes, which I think any person.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not anyone, but it's understandable.
Yeah, that's the connection. But for you, I've known you for 17 years or whatever now, right? Like you genuinely just say what you truly believe, right? And so I also learned that about you very early on, and that's part of what attracted me to you as a friend, where I'm like, yeah, there's no faffing around here. You know, she says what she thinks, and it's not like, oh, there's ulterior motives. Completely. I mean, you know, like all of us have ulterior motives.
I'm a human.
But you say what you believe, and I think that's what informs your words. And I mean, I appreciate that, and so I don't take jabs, or take your words as jabs. There's times where there are jabs, you know, where it's like a chick, and it's because I know you, I can assess that thing came with a motive, and then I can push back,
You're like, I get
which I have.
Yes, you have.
And then you were like, okay, shucks, yeah, sure. There was a motive,
Yes.
right? But generally, I'm like, nah. Anyway, yeah.
Sure. This is really cool. Like, yeah, Lily who's watching is getting so many like answers.
That husband therapy. All right, this feels like that wife therapy. Like it feels like my wife watched all these episodes,
I did.
and then she was like, "I'm gonna go to therapy."
No, I love asking questions. I want to know the details, the inner workings of your heart.
My inner workings, the mechanics.
Okay, so the next one.
Yes.
Hey, sorry to interrupt your viewing. We'll shortly get back to that episode. But if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you haven't hit the notification bell, please do that so that you're always updated on the episodes that we drop here. We want to change the nation. One husband at a time, one marriage at a time, one family at a time. So if you are inspired, encouraged by all the content that we produce on this podcast, stick around because next week there's another husband who's going to inspire us to do exactly that.
She was frustrated because obviously, she don't want to stay there with 2 kids. Because it was like, when we sleep, it's me, my wife, or the kid in the middle of us. And then we had a small, what do you call where the kids lay in?
A cot.
A cot.
Yeah.
So it was 4 of us, bro. So when you move,
You better
move correct.
Yeah, you better
When the
think
one
about
move-
it.
When the one move, all of us have to
We're
move.
coordinated.
Hey, it wasn't easy, bro.
All right, this feels like that wife therapy. Like it feels like my wife watched all these episodes,
I did.
and then she was like, "I'm gonna go to therapy."
No, I love asking questions. I want to know the details, the inner workings of your heart.
My inner workings, the mechanics.
Okay, so the next one,
Yes.
was this is genuine. This one genuine was like was the episode with Koketo.
Yes.
And
Shout out, Pastor
shout
K.
out, Pastor K.
Hey, what happened there?
I don't know.
Sure.
My cell phone cover is so pretty. I'm distracting you from what
You're
happened.
distracting us.
My daughter drew it, guys. She drew it, so I will be. Okay, so Koketo's episode.
Yes.
The segment where he talks about excitement.
And I think here's the thing, man. Our wives don't have to be excited.
Yes.
Even if they are frustrated.
Yes.
As long as they're trusting us, we should hold on to that.
Sure.
Because sometimes your wife is trusting you, but she's not excited. She says, "Man, listen, I'm here with you, but just because I'm not excited doesn't mean I'm not here."
I'm not here.
Because sometimes then we want them to be excited, but
Sure.
she's not excited.
Yes.
She's here.
Yes.
And that was my wife. She was there, but she was not excited. So I could focus on either the fact that she's not excited or the fact that she's there. And I focused on the fact that she was not excited.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
everyone is happy.
Yeah.
You're sulky. You're sulky. But she was there.
She was there,
She was
man.
like, "Listen, I don't like this. But I am here."
Yeah.
So I think as husbands, we must know that sometimes we lead our families into unfamiliar territory,
Yes.
into really
Yes.
tough situations.
Yeah.
Just because they are supporting us doesn't mean they're always going to be excited about it. And sometimes we need to take the support and say the excitement will come.
Yes.
This past Sunday, she was excited.
She was excited, man.
She was not supporting me more than she did then. She was still supporting me the same. It's just that then it was with frustration. This time it's with excitement. I'm not going to say, "Oh, now because things are working." No. She has always been supportive.
Yeah.
It's just that there was frustration. Yeah.
I wonder, not even wonder, I know there's a lot of both husbands and wives who just needed to hear that, man. That's something I struggle with.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah.
when I don't see visible excitement, it's even hard for me to believe that my wife actually wants to be here, because the excitement translates as, no, she wants to be here.
Yeah.
But that is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
I think what threw me off guard, okay, maybe this is not a grill, like a little bit of like, help me understand, was because you spoke about that she's not excited. So it means that it makes you think that I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, it was hard for me to understand what scenario and I'm not saying answered with a scenario, you don't have to, but you were talking about, because I'm like, a lot of our relationship and friendship and marriage, everything has been built around experiences where we were doing things.
Yes.
And you needed support, or I needed support. And and like I see so many milestones where I'm there, right? Like I'm there. So when you said that she's not excited, I was like, genuinely, I was like, I've always been excited. What do you mean? I am this excitement when it comes to Black newborn. I mean, so that was like, help me understand. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, this is what I'm about to say is a joke. We'll blame the depression.
Are you serious?
Because you forgot.
Really?
Yeah, you forgot.
That's hectic.
That's what I'm saying. It's a joke, but there's truth.
No, that's what
every
you
joke.
that's the season you're talking about, when things were really bad. Or
when it started, when the depression started, and I only realized, not when it started,
because of
but
this thing, when it became
no. So there was a period when we look back now, we like, smack. That's when the so let's say it was always there since you were a kid and that tragic thing happened. I mean, it's public. You've lost your dad, and the, let's say, depression was there. But when it actually started bubbling up to the surface, and then remember we were looking back saying, hey, man, no wonder you were not excited this period. When you started thinking about quitting your career.
Oh.
Yep.
I see.
Yep.
Flip, that's a revelation.
Yep.
Live on TV.
And live on TV, right? and yes, everything we've done. When I met you, I sold you on becoming my friend with a dream.
Yes.
Right? I was like,
our first big conversation
let's go build stuff.
Yes.
Right? And then we became friends.
You've been at it, yeah.
If you want to know Bob the Builder, this guy.
Luda,
this guy.
Nobody must look at you and think you're like a rookie over here. Nobody must listen.
Yes. That's
20 years in the making.
So I've been building.
Yes.
And you've been excited. And then there was one particular venture, 2015, 16, 17.
Which is our marriage year 2. That's from year 2.
Yep. You were excited about us starting, whatever. You were excited about us starting that record label and the name. And we were in our little cottage. Things were fun. I remember us sitting in our, our table in the kitchen that's smaller than the space we currently occupying here now, because our table was this big. Dude. And I was like, came up with names. And you were like, this is dope, it's dope, right? And then the thing kind of took off. We had that season, we did the Strange Tour, blah, 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 blah. That's what the thing was called, Strange Tour, right? Where we did a couple of shows. And
then, as you're saying this, it's like I forgot all of this.
Yeah.
Like I'm remembering it now. I'm like, flip, yeah.
And then the thing kind of grew after that, restructured, made it more formal, website, employed one person. We had one employee. and anyway, we tried doing stuff. And then probably 2016, 17, 18, and obviously 2018 happened. We know what happened. If you don't know, go out stronger. But you weren't excited. You're not excited at all. But it's only in hindsight that we realized you were going through stuff. But your lack of excitement said to me, like, she's here. And I see her, and then we'd go get to places, set up, perform. And bear in mind, even when I met you the first time and I sold you on this big dream of us doing stuff, part of that dream was going on tour, whatever. If now we can't on tour, doesn't look the way we envisioned it. There's other factors which is fine, but we're there, and like we have like a month and a half of just traveling, doing stuff. Yes, we're coming back home at other points, but like we're going to places, traveling, blah, blah, blah. Part of what my biggest passions, or some of my biggest passions are meeting. There's a good intersection there. You know, I'm doing music. I'm with my wife. You know, and I could also, you know, do some ministry stuff. So all of that is like care. And I'm like, this chick is not excited though. This chick is far from being excited, right? But I just think, man, it's like, guys, we're driving. Literally, we're driving an H1 throughout South Africa.
Drive to Cape Town.
So
never again.
Like we're driving in an H1, we're getting to a city, we're plunking in somebody's house. We have to unpack everything, do life there for a week.
I don't even know, yeah.
And then the next week, we probably in another parts of the Western Cape or whatever. But we have to plunk ourselves somewhere there, pack up, and we're not just traveling with our clothes. We're traveling with our clothes. We're traveling with equipment, with gear, with merch.
Doing our own setup.
We're doing our own, you know? We are riding.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking she's not excited because this is work.
It's hard, yeah.
It's work.
Okay.
Right? And so when he said that, I was like, man, I know that, you know. And then Koketso says, you know, but he had to come to a point of accepting that, well, she doesn't have to smile and dance. She's here. And I was like, man, I'll never take that away from you. You've always been here. Always. Even in the midst of your hard times, your midst of your battles with depression, you always here. There's never a point where you were like, I am tapping out, right? And, you know, unless the depression got hectic. but you always here.
I don't want to go there.
If there was ever a disclaimer. Yeah, anyway. Guys, me and my wife joke about like, oh, we laugh at bad things. Anyway. Lord.
Your face.
Fun times.
Wow.
Fun times.
Wow.
So anyway, that's all it was. That's all it was.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad I cried because of laughter, not because of work.
I know you were about to cry for real. So.
Could you see my face twitching?
God saved you.
He did.
Gave you
a guys. No, even my mom. So you just need to laugh. But okay, so on a serious note,
yeah.
Genuinely, when I watched that episode, I was like, what is he talking about? And I'm genuinely surprised at the answer.
Yeah.
The answer itself is not surprising, but that the fact that there was an answer. Like, I thought maybe it was just like, he's going to exaggerate a few things. But because two things come to mind when I remember that. And why now Koketso saying the fact that she's there suddenly just doesn't become just be grateful. You know what I mean? Like there's so much value in that because number one, the thing that comes to mind is, you know, like when somebody can't dance, and like you can see they are giving it their all. They are really, they are giving it their all. This is they're on 100. But when you watch the video, it's like, whoa, you know?
You can't dance, my friend.
You know what I mean? Like I'm silly example, but I'm that person that is my all. And then this book that I've read, The 4 Agreements, one of the agreements at the end of the book is called, he says, do your best. And I remember when that chapter started, I was like, do your best? What do you mean? Like, I remember Randall on Idols, people would come and sing terribly and they'll say, I did my best. And he said, you did do your best. you did your best, you know?
I must tell you a joke about that.
Okay, I hope I remember. Yeah, tell me now. I'll remember my
thing. So the guy says he hates it when his musician friends come, he goes to his musician friends and he says, man, well done on your album. And they're like, oh, it's all God. It's all God. And it's like, you telling me the God of the universe who created everything, he made that? so he says, next time I tell you, well done, take it. Because as a human, man, that's all you could do. And it's amazing for a human effort.
I think that's
if it's all God, man, this is very average.
It's really disappointing.
It's average of God. Who's that big?
That's good. Anyway. Oh, that's good. That's good stuff. Sure. Yeah. Because even, anyway, let me not go there. It's fine.
Yes.
But even, so like when he says do your best, and then when he unpacks that, the idea of doing your best is you know, it's a tweet that I read that sometimes your best is 40%. You gave it your all, and all you had was 40%.
40%, yeah.
If you gave 40% and that's all you had, you gave 100%.
Yes.
And that's what it means. Let's not do the best, but what is your best in this moment? My best in this moment. So when you're saying that, and I'm like, shucks, I had forgotten that time because, you know, that's what happens when your brain turns on you. But now that you're saying, I'm like, yeah, I remember it. And my experience of it was I was giving everything I had. I was giving
all, girl.
And so with all that in mind, when Koketso says, but she's there, it's like that's all I had was to be there.
Yeah.
And if that wouldn't have been enough, that would have been devastating.
That would have been rough.
That would have, because I'm like, I don't have any more things.
That would have been rough. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. I didn't expect that to get as emotional and foolish as it did.
I told you. I thought I was going to get grilled here, but this is therapy for you.
Because I want to understand, man. I don't want a marriage where we are just there, just coasting by the days. I want to live them. So I'm like, I get to eavesdrop on conversation. I mean, granted, it's not like every chat you're sharing like your stuff, but when you do, or when I see he's agreeing a lot. Why is he agreeing so much? That nod, that was an emphatic nod.
Yeah.
So
just remember, I'm a commentator at that point. I'm not in the field. And so are the guests.
Yes, totally.
Because when they're with their wives, their husbands, they're in the thing.
Yes.
But when we hear, it's not that we're not husbands, but we kind of get an hour, 2 hours to zoom out of our own marriages and, you know, see stuff.
But you also know I overthink. Like, I'll be like, why did he do that? Why didn't he do that?
Wow.
So let's just take it with a grain of salt, whatever that means. Let's go to Solo's episode.
Yes.
Another one.
Yes.
Absolutely loved. Where he spoke about, I guess, so there were two clips. So the first one, 2 points that I wanted to highlight. The first one was about the fact that he works with his wife.
Yep.
They're in business together, like we are in business together.
Yep.
And so we'll start with that one.
And I think another parallel or something that we share is that, you know, we're in business with our wives, right? And bro, hey yo,
that's a chat.
Hey yo, that's I don't know if that's a different podcast. I don't know what that is, but you know, because that was another thing where like. Where like the romance, where she had to stop me and go, no, guy. So you're telling me on date night we're still talking shop?
Yep.
You know, and again, like, and I guess that's how I'm wired, where it's just like we speak about the things that matter. And I guess right now what matters is, you know, there are employees who need to be paid. So what's the plan? You know, and I also, that was another place where I had to stop and go. Yeah. Also, as much as we work together, you know, we're in business together whilst not having the same traits.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So when I think it's automatic for us to just talk, you know, finances, whilst forgetting that, like, but this is an overwhelming conversation for her. You know what I mean? Like, she needs to be prepped for this, ready for it, as opposed to this very financial mind that I have, which goes, it's an urgency, so let's talk about it right now. Yeah. You know, and she's like, oh, before bed. Then you have to stop and go, yeah, maybe not the right time. That's fair. That's fair. My bad, big dog.
Sheesh.
You know, but it's just things like that. It's. I appreciate the opportunity that being in business with my wife affords us in terms of growth. Yeah. But again, more learning curves, you know, more growing pains. Yeah. And again,
more rubbing up against each other.
Absolutely. More friction.
Sure.
First of all, I didn't realize that I don't, like, even now, directly know anyone in my community who has like a similar dynamic. Yeah. Yep. Like, even I'm like, the fact that I'm having to think hard, like, yeah, everyone that I know, that we know that's married and close to us, they're kind of doing their own things. So it's very hard to kind of have a direct line where you can be like, you get it. So so I think he made the statement about going to Andicio's and they have pizza, but they're talking about work. And it's like, but we had a date. And then you said how, like, that was something that you had to, we had to sort of realize that going out and talking about work is not going out. But how hard it is to, like,
separate the two.
Yeah. You know, and just, I don't know, like, do you feel robbed of parts of our marriage? Or like, do you ever wonder, I guess, like, if it would be easier if you were just doing your own thing and I'm just like, oh, what's happening over there? Okay, cool. Like, I don't even know if I'm asking
I know
this question
what you're saying. So would it be easier? Sure, and what answers that is, first and foremost, entrepreneurship is hard in and of itself.
Yeah, inside,
outside, next to it. It's hard. It's hard. You at least give a taste to the million girls. Million girls are my wife's family. When you guys recently went on holiday, and everyone was on holiday except you.
My sister was like, "Hi, you didn't work?" I'm like, "Yeah, because if I don't work, like I don't like.
As an
there's
entrepreneur,
no leave here, babes.
you
At least not for now. Hopefully soon. But for now, we are at that critical.
Yeah, you wearing the hat. You're wearing 5 hats. You're doing the jobs of 3 people as one person, because that's what entrepreneurship is. So in that sense, yeah, sure. Had you had a 9 to 5, sure, maybe it would be easy in that sense. That I'm the only one, with crazy dreams, ideas,
being
and doing stuff, being a vuyo, and we don't have to vuyo together. Practically, sure. But do I want that? Heck no.
That's so comforting.
I didn't want that. I don't want that. I didn't mind it because I didn't know where our lives were gonna be when we started. When we got married, you were a full-time musician, and back of our heads that's what it was gonna be forever. I was doing music, but I was also in ministry, and that's what was gonna be us forever, and we spoke about what our dream would look like for our family, for our careers, etc. But now 10 years of us working together, man, I would not have it any other way. The stuff that we are both able to do, and now particularly because you're asking me, the stuff I've been able to do, I would not do with a 9 to 5 hand. I would not at all, right? At all, because I would have to jump 10 more hoops to try and explain. Bro.
Yes,
I would have to explain 10 things why I need to take money to go do this thing. But for you and I, it's always been, man, we get it. We see. All right, let's go. Let's go do this thing. Okay, it didn't work. Hey, fine. Let's get ice cream and cry together.
Quite literally.
And cry and dream about the next thing.
Yes.
Go out. Let's try and do it, etc. So I think it's just given both of us freedoms. It's given me freedom. It's given me room to just be like, man, like, I want to go explore. I want to try things. I have the freedom of letting my dreams come to me, right? And not me shutting them out because, oh man, I need to explain this to my wife. I could just let the dreams come and I'll go explain them. Man, there's a couple of dreams you were like,
nah, sir.
Yes.
I was like, no, sir.
Sway.
That one.
Sway, we don't have answers for you on that one. No way.
Even me, I'm not going there.
No way, right? And it's fine.
But I think the fact that you could just say it. It wasn't like, I can't even bring this up.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want that either. Like, I want to,
Yeah. And when you say no to that thing, I'm not like, it's the only thing I'm resting on. Because I've had 500 other dreams that we've done together, stuff that has worked, stuff that hasn't worked. You just shut down one, but I've given you 10 others after you shut this one and you were like, there's 8 out of the 10 that could work. Let's go, right? So I wouldn't have it any other way. Though it requires then an extra muscle for us to care for our marriage, right? Because it's easy to be caught up in the entrepreneurial bug, cycle, lifestyle, grind, take advantage of the fact that we married, we live together, we work together, grind. And then next thing, marriage suffers, we haven't gone on a date night for a minute, which has been our reality.
But I mean, I'm glad you went there because I wanted to actually ask you, I don't remember it now, but it seemed as though I kind of brought it up that, hey, Blaque, every time we go out, like we haven't gone out, or when you go out, it's like about...
Yeah,
you seem like you didn't notice. And I remember in Solo's episode, he was also like, what do you mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you hadn't picked it up that, hey...
No, because here's the thing. Like, I'm not.
And I'm not asking in like a snacks way.
No. Yeah. So I'm not sitting there after work thinking, like, because here's the thing. You know, if you have a 9 to 5, you're working, and when you get home, that's home. But for me, work and home are all in one place. So even at work, I'm not like, hey, Lily, my colleague, how are you doing? You know? I'm like, I'm stealing a kiss here and there. Hey, massaging your heart for later tonight.
Hey, man!
We have to massage your wife's heart. Don't just get in the bed and say, hey, let's do massage. Massage your. You know what your mom said?
No, I don't want to know what my mom said.
Your mom
Can
said.
we move on from this topic?
Your mom said, for people in her age, they're learning a lot about the kind of husbands that they desire to have. And they wish that their husbands in their generation would have had a platform like this so that they can talk some more.
Okay, sir.
Right?
But
So
you know,
anyway,
you married like a child, so please.
I'm
Like, I'm so uncomfortable. I'm like a little child.
Anyway, but I'm saying at work,
Yeah.
I massage your heart.
Yes.
And so by the time we leave work to go have lunch before we go home, I'm still with my wife. And we happen to just talk about work.
And I'm like,
And you like, man, I need to get out of these work clothes.
Sure.
Like you come to work like this and you could go to a date like this. See? So in my head, I'm like, first we look nice. We here. We smell nice. We here. Right?
Oh, wow.
And then I had to then realize, oh, smack, like it, and it's part of what I did a seminar this past weekend, and I was like to the husbands, man, that's why we commanded to love, because it doesn't come natural to us. And what loving is that I need to know that you want to put on an outfit. You want to, have reservations. You want to go to a specific restaurant. You want to eat. You want to look into my eyes. Loving means
and not pay.
Right?
Even if it's our money, it's your money. I don't want
hundreds.
to SMS. I want to be like this.
Yes, right? And so loving means I need to know all of that, number one. Number two, I need to do all of that, right? Sorry, I'm going to give a sermon now and I know how you feel because you're like, people are going to say you're talking too much. Anyway, but that's what happened with Adam. Adam was passive, right? Eve, when she was chowing the fruit, the Bible doesn't say that she went and looked for Adam. She gave her husband who was with her. So Adam was passive, not loving, sitting there. And that's how I know Adam was not a Zulu man, because a Zulu man would say, "Wakhuluma nenyoka. Wenzani ukhuluma nenyoka." Anyway, so he was passive. And his grandsons have been that. And so I need to fight my passivity, if that's a passivity.
I think so.
Yes, by loving. Right? I need to actively do things. Love, hey, you remember, love is a verb. It's a doing word.
Listen.
Right? And so that's why I'm commanded to love, because naturally I'm passive. And so I need to find the dates. I need to find the reservations. I need to get the perfume. I need
You must find them.
Hundreds. Guys, that's why I've started doing the
Look at you.
November 4-weekend date night challenge. Right? If you haven't signed up, there's a link in the comment section or the description box. Click on that and sign up for our 4-weekend date night challenge, because it's for guys like me. For guys like me who've been grinding, and we haven't taken care of the most precious gifts that we have. So just four weekends that you can, and they're cheap, guys. You're not paying me. I am giving you ideas of things I'm doing with my wife. Okay? Just 4 weekends. You can sign up easy. On Sunday, I remind you what we're doing that week. On Monday, I give you a reminder to go book your wife. On Tuesday, I give you the plan of where to go shop. Yeah? All under 150, guys. In fact, this week's challenge is only $80. $80.
I'm very excited.
For a date night. Anyway.
See, this is my marriage.
Come on.
Marriage
now.
and work.
Yeah.
Halfway work. But guys, please sign up for the date night challenge. Make sure you sign up. I forgot everything you said, but do that.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yes.
that's having to navigate work and in marriage. Yeah.
I think that's so like honest and real to be like, I'm not cut out for that, but to say I'm not cut out. Sorry, that's not it.
I'm
like
not,
it's not
though.
naturally,
Yeah.
but to not be resigned
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, that's not me. Because that's like a lazy way to be. And I think we know like situations where people can kind of have that thing, you know, and be like, okay, cool. So I'm excited for November. Like, what is it? November what?
Date night challenge.
November date night challenge.
4 weekend
4
date night
weeks,
challenge.
150,
Come
80
on.
rand,
All right.
one man.
Yo.
I don't know where we're going. Okay, I've got two more. Sorry, still on Solo's one.
Yes.
Oh, this one rocked me. It rocked me to the core.
So I say this all the time. I think my wife is the most talented person I've ever met.
Sure.
Right? I'm all right, man. She's the most talented person I've ever met. And the thing about that is it speaks to, again, her not even fully tapped into and realized potential.
Sure.
Her ambitions.
Sure.
And her goals, right? Which I am definitely, to some extent, a custodian of at some level, right? Sitting in the position of husband means I do sit in a place where I could break that.
Yep.
You understand how much power that is?
Yep.
Enough power to dim a light,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So with that said, I've also had to understand my bigger role in, besides being a husband to her.
Sure.
Because I know who I married.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
You guys think you know her potential. I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or at least I know as much as I know. It's probably even more than I can imagine.
Sure.
You know,
Custodian.
Custodian, yes. Custodian.
Did you hear that word?
And then he had the bass.
Yes.
You know, that slow. I was like,
Yes.
I think I looped that pod for like 2 weeks. Because number one, I realized that, it's not something that was conscious in my head that, Blaque is a custodian of my gifts. No. But absolutely, from the time that we've been married, you are the first person who hears the idea. Sometimes you're the first person who sees the idea. Mama, why don't you do that? Why don't you're the first person, okay, Blaque, I think I want to. And at that crucial moment where it's like, it's embryonic. I don't know if that's the word. No. But it's an embryo. At that crucial moment, you could very easily
Crush it.
Very easily. And the scary thing is, we've seen that.
Yeah.
And it was just, that thing rocked me because it does put you in a position of vulnerability, but you don't experience hope, love without being vulnerable, right? Like it's what Jabu said in this episode as well. Like that's the game, you know. But I was like, oh my word! Like even something as, you know, obviously you're a person, you gain weight, lose weight too. But as women who we want to be beautiful, we want to, you know, there's something about I can dress up and everyone can compliment me. But I really want you to compliment me as well. Like there's like not even as well. Like you're probably the main person I want to hear that I look nice from, you know? And like your body changes, you know, things are changing, big, small, you've got discoloration, pimples, whatever. And you could, the confidence, like how many times you've given me confidence to wear that thing I wanted to wear, but I just was like, I'm not sure for whatever reason. And then you're like, no, girl. And I'm like, actually. And then I walk out and feel like, you're so confident. Like, yeah, I'm very confident. You know, by the time somebody sees, you know, fill in the blank, whether at the time me on stage or something, like it's gone through this process where you could have been like, it's a no, you know? And I think what shocked me was that I didn't know it like in that term, but in that way, like, but you seem to be like, you agree. Like you didn't look shocked. And I was like, is that a thing that like, where do you learn that? Is that something that's like, honestly, I'm not trying to be weird, but like, is that like a spiritual like understanding? Or is that like something that men are sort of taught, they discuss that, you know?
Yes, yeah.
I'm asking a deep question.
Taught?
Oh, flip, no.
Never.
Yeah. Or like in your community of brothers.
Never. Dudes don't even talk about being custodians of their wives' dreams, bro. We don't. And we should.
Sure.
We should. That's why when Solo said what he said, I was like, we always use the term tribesman. It was like, on that issue, that's my tribesman.
Oh,
Like,
the soul tribe thing.
Yeah, he gets
Whatever.
it.
What do
I
I say?
get it. Right? Like,
Mm.
you got it.
You got it.
That's what I'm doing with my life. You come easy, right?
Shucks.
And here's the thing, I have to give credit to all the guests that we've had, that as much as those guys, some of them didn't speak about being custodians, but it's in the conversation that I could pick up and how they treat their wives and how they speak of their wives. So Koketo, another example, not wanting to wake up one day and his wife says,
Yes.
I'm married to a narcissist.
Yes. Oof.
Because he knows that he's a custodian of his wife's dreams. Right?
Yeah, because he literally said, I want to ask her, are you still living your dreams?
Yeah.
Are you still where God wants you
Yeah.
to be? Because
Yeah.
his personality is one that can bulldoze.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Hungani saying that, after the birth of their kid, and he's quickly going back to work, and then he's realizing, oh, smack, again, similar thing, work and home, all in the same yard.
Yes.
And he's like, man, I'm losing sight of my family, etc., etc., And I'm like, here's a dude who really cares for his family, wants to work hard for them. And part of which is, I'm using him to lead to my answer, where he's working hard because he wants to take care of his family. And I think that level of understanding and urgency to want to take care of your family only speaks to, or not only, but part of it speaks to a man understanding that he's a custodian of his family's dreams.
Ooh.
So
Wow. Sure.
for me, I'll say it in a way that I think will resonate with you, but that's why I work hard. Like I wanna work hard so that you don't have to think twice about doing something that you know that you're gifted at, you're good at. It's the sorry, girl.
It's fine.
Maybe let me make you laugh. Put it in easy words.
I don't want to go there.
If
To our team behind the camera.
all of us, all 100 of us.
Gosh.
But I work hard so that I could be your blesser. Right? Yeah.
Was that the joke?
That's the joke.
No, it's a joke, but it's real.
No, it's real. So I'm saying,
blesser.
typically
Yes,
blessers
yes.
want to get, favors and
it's exchange.
and some of those, the blessings that they give are for weaves and whatever. And some people might use it for whatever. Angikho lapho, that's not my portion. But my thing is, man, work hard so that I want to go buy. Hey, you tell me what's a fancy guitar,
Ed Sheeran plays a Martin.
Grace, what's a fancy guitar? Grace knows all fancy things.
Grace knows everything.
Tell us, what's the most expensive fancy guitar? Anyway,
Taylor.
that one. I work hard so that you can say, I want to go buy a Taylor. And I'm like, oh, sure, dog, whatever. Because I know what music means for you. I know, the gift that you have and how I can facilitate that, be a blesser for that, an enabler, be a custodian for that. So that's why I resonated with what he said there, and how he then says, for us as audience looking into their lives and particularly his wife's career, like we don't even know like the level of talent that she has, that he's been exposed to. Like we haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to how amazing and talented Dineo is. And I was like, yeah, I meet people who are like, Farina, and I know she's gonna be watching. Future judge, she knows who she is. Let me not expose you by your real name.
That is, I remember her.
And Portia. Anyway,
There are many Porsches.
Anyway, but she was like, man, Redemption, which is my wife's album, that she released in 2020. Yeah,
at the funeral.
Yes. It kept her going this year. the whole year, and she's final year law student.
Come on, Black.
And she's like, she pulls out her playlist. She's like, see, redemption kept me going. And so I was like, man, if you like, redemption kept you going, but you don't know how much is still in this chick. You don't know how much is still in this woman, and the kind of ideas, creativity, just the juice and passion that you have. And then I'm like, man, I'd be a papaya of a husband if one day, God comes back and is like, oh, you, fine, all this I deposited in this girl, like, you telling me you just scratched the surface, right? I'm like, God, I know how much you've given, and please enable me, to really dig deep and unearth all of that stuff and be a custodian of it, be a facilitator, be the guy who's gonna, I don't know what the art people are called, who then go display art, right? So whatever, that guy, let me be that. Like, you are the Louvre. You are the Louvre.
The Louvre.
And I am the one with the keys to the Louvre. Right? There's how many?
Sure.
There's over, I know it's in the hundreds though. It's in the hundreds of paintings in the Louvre that are not displayed to the public.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's special.
No, they don't. Yeah, no, I don't know who sees displayed for the public.
Because our cells in oxygen is gonna. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm being silly, but I do know about
But
that.
either way, my point is, there's so many other paintings in this Louvre that the public doesn't know that I want to work to expose. So.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
There's a lot there. There's a lot there. Do you think it's a genuine question? Because I'm still chewing on the idea. So I know we've spoken about affirmation and encouragement, and I can help you go fight a bear, whatever. But do you think it's the exact thing for me?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think that
what is it for women?
If it even is that?
Yeah, it's.
I don't even.
I get what you're saying. Get what you're saying. So again, I'll use Adam and Eve. That's why I say again. She came into a garden that's already made. She wasn't made from the ground. Adam was made from the ground. Eve was pulled from Adam. So she's pulled from stuff that's already made. And she comes into a garden that's already made. She comes into a garden where God has already given Adam the laws. Don't eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And so when she comes in, she's coming into another human. Adam came from the ground with no other humans, and so she has a reference point. So Adam didn't have a reference point. That's how he realized that he was alone, because all the other animals had people, and he was like, but I see elephants that look the same, bears that look the same. There's nothing that looks like me. But Eve comes in. She sees two bears. She sees two elephants, and then she sees Adam. She has a reference point. So Adam, again, that's why I need to love, because I'm created from the ground, and I need to, give. You came from me. I need to be giving more, and you're supposed to be receiving. So on your part, you need to feel secure. You need to feel safe. And hence love does that. Love would create safety, financially. So we're not financially where we want to be, so you feel financially secure because of my love in the little that we have. You feel spiritually secure, even as God is growing us in different ways because of my love towards you. You feel, physically secure and safe, because I would, if I hear a noise, I'm getting out of the bed immediately. You know that.
I've seen it.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, and I most of the time don't have a plan. All I need, I know I need to protect you, protect Zaya. So we'll see if the guy has a gun, we'll wrestle. Right? Anyway, but and so I think it's you feel it in that way, and you experience it that way. So it's you, I think, having come into or being created to be in a space that has levels of security. Because once that level of security or safety is not there, your anxiety, your insecurities, they all flare up.
Yeah.
Right? They all flare up. I was saying again this past
Especially
weekend.
once you include a little human.
Yeah, 100%. I was saying this past weekend at another thing I was doing that one, if you're a man and you're not loving, I dare to say that you're not a man if you don't love. And then I said, your wife is not anxious, your wife is not insecure. She's just unsafe and unloved.
Woof.
That's what she is.
I can hear the women watching.
She's unsafe and she's unloved. Because if your wife was safe and loved, man, her insecurities, her anxieties would calm down. Not that they're not going to be there. She's still a broken human, but they only flare up when she does not experience love. Love calms her down. Love makes her feel safe. Love makes her insecurities go down. Her anxieties calm down. So I'm like, you might be like, oh, my wife is always anxious. I think ask a different question. Is your wife loved? Because if she's loved, she won't be insecure, or at least they won't flare up. Right. So anyway.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, sure.
My last one.
Yeah.
This was quite way more moving, deeper than I thought it'd be. I'm not saying the right word I want, but I didn't expect to feel so affected. I thought it would just be like chats. And once again on That Husband podcast, I learned something new. But the last one, thanks for coming to my podcast, by the way.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, that wife.
But the last one, as That Husband, Jules came. We love Jules. Jules is amazing. But on his episode about having been divorced and then getting remarried, there's somewhere where he spoke about, I don't know, but you spoke about how you wouldn't get married again. Yeah. And he was like, even in the midst of his divorce, he's like, I'm absolutely doing this again. Yeah. And praise God, he had a chance to do it again.
Yeah. But in your mind, what's going on, bro? Because then 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, after that you get married. What happens then as this thing ends? I mean, yes, you guys are still homies. Are you thinking, this thing is done. Because it ended well, I'm ready to move on. Or are you thinking, because I'll tell you, I've said this to you a million times. If I divorce, bro,
you're done.
Done.
Yeah.
Love my wife.
Yeah.
And because I love her.
Yeah.
And because we're homies.
Yeah.
I am not doing this thing with nobody.
Yeah.
I am not, listen, I could go through struggles, suffering, hunger with this one.
Yeah.
Anyone else, I'm like, I'm fine.
Never.
I'm grand, right? And especially now.
So I have the same sentiments. Yes, shout out to her. I have the same sentiments that I wouldn't want to get married again. And maybe there's a thing of I'm not unhappy. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful and content and happy. And we have our things, we overcome them, we grow, all of that stuff. So it's why would you not want to do it again? So I just wanted us to chat about that.
That's fine. Maybe you should tell me why. Because you just said you share the same sentiments.
I do, if this is but you're on my podcast. So
it's the final question. So
okay, cool. I'll go. So it's a thing where actually I was watching Tabitha Brown and her husband. They did an episode with Kev on stage and his wife.
Yes.
You know when you wish people were your friends?
I know.
All four of those people, we'd be really cool. Anyway, but towards the end of their episode, they talk about whether they would get remarried, if one of them, if they, God forbid, divorced or died, which is going to happen. Oh, sorry.
It's YouTube.
Yeesh. So, but
permanently unconscious.
That feels dark.
It feels, because somebody said that.
No, that's not nice. That's not. Anyway, that made me feel. Ugh. But the question was if they found themselves no longer together, would they get remarried? And Tabitha answered it in a way that I had been struggling to put into words, and I'm going to paraphrase, but basically saying with what having a healthy marriage a good marriage requires,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you can be married. We all know this. You can be married, you can do your thing and, clock up those years and happy anniversary and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want that kind of marriage. I want vibes. I want all the good stuff. And what it takes to have that is so much of, like as we've discussed here, like, checking your words. It's painstaking. There's a cost to it, which is the prize is beautiful. But she's like, to do that again, because she also said the gift of getting married young is, it's the other side of, I wasn't really sure what I signed up for. On the one side, it's like, oh, this is too much. But on the other hand, the ignorance kind of helped her stay for longer, because it was like, if I had known fully, I probably would have been like, yeah, that looks too scary. It's like when you know someone's full story, you might envy their life a little less at how much they've had to go through to get to that point.
Yes.
So I was like, that's what it is, where I have and am and will continue to give and like really dig deep and, do what I need to do for the sake of us having those beautiful days, which come up to months and years, but like to do it again, I'm like, that's a lot. Like, no, I'm tired now. I'm tired now.
Yeah.
Plus, I'll probably be marrying some old person who's set in his ways. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm giving my all now, and when the all is given, there's no more all left to give. You know, not to discount other people who have done it twice. I think that's, and I genuinely think, especially just talking about Jules, I think that's a grace, because his wasn't just, oh, it didn't work. Like, there was pain there. There was like, there was grief, and praise God, they're still like a friendship. Like they're cool with his ex-wife, but he went through some things to then be like, yeah, no, I want to love again. Let's go. I'm like, yeah, no. Yeah. I'll just have like a permanent boyfriend.
What? What? What?
Look at you thinking.
You have a what?
Permanent. I'll have a person.
I better be dead.
Obviously.
I better be dead.
But I'm not. You're not dying first, so it's okay.
Oh,
anyway, we're not going to talk about that.
Anyway.
So, what is your
with all of that you just said, Lillian?
Yeah.
All of it, and I agree with it. I like, no one else is worthy besides you for me to do that with. I can't.
But how do you know?
I
was worthy at the point.
That's the thing. I don't need to find that out. If guys, God forbid anything happens to my wife, I'm to DM. Me, don't send me a DM. Don't forget it. Like, it's okay. And listen. God is God. God,
No, we don't.
Sure. But for me,
as it stands today,
yeah, and my heart, as for me and my household, nah, there's no one.
Those women who are like, and men who are like, if you mustn't get married. Have you seen those videos where like it's someone in like a pretend like coffin and they're like waking up when I realize the husband's gay? I'm like, I'm going to be like, okay. Okay, enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm in heaven having a good time. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm that ancestor who's like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah. Don't bother me. So, I wouldn't. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
But
sorry. So there's times when we've like, which hasn't happened recently, when we've had like really strong fights, and I'm like, let's just leave this one, right? But then I think in those moments when I'm leaving her, then I'm like, okay, if I leave her, then where am I going? Who am I going to? And I'm like, there's nothing, Joe.
So you stay with me because there's nothing. I'm joking.
No, because nothing else is worthy.
I hear you.
So
it was just getting really intense.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think you were commenting now that like my realizing that you're worthy has come over the years.
No, I was saying you realized I was worthy at the point when we started dating. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So in our friendship, I wouldn't have been worthy of that level of sacrifice. But at the point when you're like, hey, Lily, let's talk. I like you. You're my wife.
There was a level of that, where people did think like we were too close.
But you didn't think that.
I mean, you didn't think that.
Exactly.
Well.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I'm just saying, as much as I didn't think we were close
Yes.
in the way that people were saying we were close. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I thought, like, man, out of all my friends,
Okay.
you are
I see what you're saying.
at the top.
Okay, cool.
Like, out of all the friends I had at that point,
Yes.
when we became, I was like, man, like, this chick is right here. And you've never, I mean, there's 1 year where we hated each other, but even then we reconciled. And part of how you came to me in that year when we fought, and you were like, man, that elevated you even higher.
Okay.
You know, so I'm like, yeah, there's people for people, you know, so somebody has somebody out there. And when people, I don't believe in the one, right? I don't think that like somewhere in the stars or in heaven, there was a concoction for the one. But man, there is a sense in which I think you are the only one, right? Not the one as in Hollywood, but like you the only one that I would ever want to go through this crazy stuff with.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I would not want to be with anyone else. And here's the thing, there's people who are probably great as humans. But it's the thing I always say, if I know that I've become friends with somebody when I think we can do a road trip.
Yes.
And not a crazy one. You know, I'm like, we can drive to Durban, 5 hours, 6 hours. We can drive, just the two of us.
Yeah.
And I know that it's gonna be nice, fine, not awkward. Then I'm like, I think we're friends, right? And so I'm like, man, if there was ever a thing above a road trip, because road trip is my standard. I mean, if I can be somebody, friends with somebody. If there was ever a thing above road trip, you're the only person there. There's no other person. Like I don't want to do whatever's above the road trip with nobody. Like somebody could be a really nice road trip friend and maybe dope conversation, but do I really want to argue with them about life's most important things? No. Do I want to have babies with them? No. Do I want to raise a youth? No. Right? So that's why I'm like, man, God takes you now. Buffett. We'll change this to that widower.
Man. You know your views would skyrocket.
That's what you keep saying.
I'm telling you how his wife died. Let's stop doing this. We're going to get in trouble.
Anyway.
I would marry you again, though. So that's the most important thing.
No, I would marry you.
You specifically.
I would marry you.
And be like, listen.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Maybe in another parallel alternate timeline, we became those lawyers. We made it roads and we became
I would be
those
sad,
lawyers.
but rich.
Yeah.
Me and you would be sad lawyers.
Why would you be sad lawyers?
Because we'd hate our jobs. Because we want to be creatives.
No, but in this timeline, we're very happy doing what we do.
Nah, I don't think so.
Like
I don't think so. Me and you were meant to do what we do.
Okay, it's fine.
So
Anyway,
even in the alternative universe,
we still want to be in this
we
one.
still want to be here.
Wow.
But we'd be polling.
Leader, this was good.
Anyway, thanks, my friend.
Thank you so much, my Jimmy.
Cool. That wife.
Kind of cool, my man.
Yes.
I want the fist bump. But I feel like you have to. You have to.
Hey. Guys, somebody's going to close us off because this is her podcast.
I don't know how to close. No, I'm stressed. What do you mean?
Anyway, yo, thanks for coming through. Appreciate this. I thought I was gonna be grilled.
How do you feel?
I feel fine. What?
Why aren't you moved?
Oh, but you know when I say I feel fine, you know me. You know.
Okay. Cool.
I'm more than moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was fun. It was really fun.
fun.
Yeah. I thought I was gonna be on the price stand, but I was by the poolside, sipping pina coladas.
Pina coladas. Mojito.
Mojito.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
Yes.
guys, I hope this was super helpful. And please leave us a comment on what you thought about the conversation that I had with my wife. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you're updated on every single episode we drop.
And sign up for the thing
at 11:30
Yes.
and sign up for the 4-weekend date night challenge. If not that, sign up for That Husband's Corner. That Husband's Corner is a corner where you get to chat with me every week, straight into your inbox, tell you what's happening in my life. And some of those things I need to run past my wife. But anyway.
No, I'll find them out like I find out in the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, he told that story. Okay, cool.
Anyway, my wife gives me permission to talk about our lives, but obviously in appropriate ways. So, anyway. We'd love to get to hear what you're saying, so please leave a comment. Right, and we'll see you on the flip side. Right, peace.
With me and my wife, I think us staying close to God
Sure.
help us overcome
Come
the
on, bro.
desires of what our hearts wanted.
Yeah. No, that's good,
Staying
bro.
close to God,
Yeah.
knowing who He is, knowing what He's going to do for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
We didn't know the vision that well, but we know God can. We know our God, the God we serve.